We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin.
And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is ow, my butt hurts hot dog helper. So clearly it's mustard. I don't love the name of this. Actually, either of these, and I'll get into that here in a minute, but the Red Devil face, the kind of Halloween mask, I think is cool. I do like that. Condiment Dysfunction is the name of this company, apparently. This is a habanero honey mustard. And let's definitely do that. Okay, so let's take a look at the ingredients. And we have mustard, by which I'm going to say it's just the straight yellow mustard. Honey, habanero peppers, garlic, vinegar, lime, the hell, salt, sodium benzoate, and potassium sorbate. The latter two, of course, are preservatives. All right, so this comes with a restrictor cap. You can't really see it in the bottle, but this is not a bad idea to use. And you can see here, I'm not putting any pressure on it. It's just gooping out by itself. So this is good. This is a good thing here. All right, so it looks basically like a yellow mustard. They're calling it honey habanero, and it smells somewhat like yellow mustard. And honey mustards can kind of go a little bit more towards sunflower, which I think this kind of is. So it looks pretty clearly like a mustard. There's no red pepper flecks in it or anything. Actually, there might be some little ones up there. But let's take a look at the bottle. So you can see I don't know if the camera's picking these up, but there's just really little red flecks in there, which I'm going to assume is probably the habanero. And I don't like this name. It's a bit crass, and we'll get into that here momentarily. But all right, let's take this for a spin. Pretty standard honey mustard, really. Leaning more towards yellow though. The good honey mustards have a flavor that's almost uniquely their own. This tastes almost like a sweetened yellow mustard, a little bit more than it does a true honey mustard. Nothing wrong with it though, it's fine. Not bad. So let me complain about the name. I like this graphic, like I said. The Ow My Butt Hurts has an implication that there is some heat involved in this, and if there is, it is really minuscule. And I'm not sure it's, frankly, I don't think it's much more than, if you get a horseradish mustard, that might be an equivalent heat level. If you get a really horseradishy one, then probably not. Then that's probably going to read as more. And I don't know that anyone's going to be challenged by this. It's halfway up the meter here, but this isn't really. I'm struggling to call this a default one, if I'm being honest here. There's just not a lot of heat here. And if you're going to try to make Ow My Butt Hurts, right? So that references a next day sort of claim. And I think you could eat almost this entire bottle, and you might have a problem with all the vinegar if you eat that much of it, but it certainly wouldn't be from the habaneros. The other problem I have is calling this a hot dog helper. And honey mustard and hot dogs are not really a thing that I think of when they go together. In fact, I've never seen honey mustard used on a hot dog, like ever. Honey mustard will go with things like chicken strips. That's probably where I see it the most, or chicken nuggets or something like that. It will go away from the beef side of things. And beef will have more of a straightforward, just yellow mustard to it. So calling this a hot dog helper, I mean, what are you helping the hot dog do exactly? The other side of this is, so I've seen a lot of, I'm just going to get philosophical here on you for a minute. I've seen a lot of videos that are, so you want to be a chili head, or chili head tips, or chili head secrets, and all that kind of thing. And I keep thinking I should do one myself too, because I haven't watched any of those. Everybody's got their own unique path. I think they're kind of pointless to do a video of that. I mean, it's, the people are doing it, that's fine. And Scoville's done one. Good on him. Awesome. I mean, all that's cool. No problem there. But I don't know if he touched on this or if any of the other ones that are out there have touched on this. But I'll tell you this. One of the things about being a chili head is you should prepare to be disappointed with the heat level from a lot of products calling itself hot. This one, obviously, I mean, look at this. The implication here is that you are going to have the other end be on fire the next day, or even maybe later that same day. And that implies a certain level of heat that this does not have. So you see a lot of that. You see a lot of, in fact, if you look through a lot of the videos on here, you could see that trend over and over and over and over again, right? Where we're over-promising and under-delivering on the heat side of things, and sometimes on the flavor also, but mostly on the heat side. Over and over again, and it becomes really difficult to sift through the noise and say, okay, was this legitimately spicy for a chili head, or is it intended for a normie? That's cool that they're trying to recruit people into the chili head lifestyle and selling heat and all that stuff. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but from my perspective as a chili head, when I'm buying something, I'm expecting there to be legitimate heat if you're going to call something hot. And that's really what I try to do with a lot of the snacks and a lot of the other content that's not related to hot sauces on this channel, is to try to filter through some of that and say, okay, watch the video and you can determine whether or not it's satisfying to a chili head like me. And I'm not an extreme chili head. I'm not doing League of Fire stuff. I do very, very few challenges. My modus is definitely more of an emphasis on flavor. And if that's what people are after, then you can come here and say, okay, so this more in the middle, I would say, then I think there's people who can't tolerate heat. I think there's normal people. I think there's people who are heat curious. I think there's the middle ones where we kind of range the whole gamut of it. And then there's the extreme side who just want to set themselves on fire. I think there's all that room in here. But pretty much anybody that's not in the even the extreme side can come and take a look and say, okay, so if this is satisfying to somebody who's kind of running the gamut, that's just more of a moderate chili head, then you'll reasonably know what to expect before you spend your money. And everything's getting more expensive, snacks included. So anyway, that all out of the way. Disappointing level of heat. And there's not a lot of the spicy mustards that I don't think are really, like mustard, I don't know that, when people buy mustard, they're not really, I don't think, looking to torch themselves. Oh, I started opening this. This is a Nathan's hot dog from the store. I changed what I was going to do for this video like 3 or 4 times. And I'm just going to circle back to, they're calling it hot dog helper. Watching my other content and go through and watch every single video, I would be inordinately happy if you did that. But I lean on the manufacturers. So if somebody is saying, hey, we're marketing this, and this is intended as a hot sauce, that's been throughout 2022 and some of the other years as well, where they're calling something it's not. They're calling something a ketchup, it's really a hot sauce. They're calling something a hot sauce, it's really a mustard. So This one is calling itself a hot dog helper. So even though, like I said, this is not an inclination I would normally have to be putting honey mustard on a hot dog, it's fine. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. This is actually pretty solid on chicken strips. That's where I think I've eaten it the most. And I discovered this because I was going to make some deviled eggs for this as well. But honey mustard deviled eggs is not a thing I like. Oh. You don't see sweet and hot dog hardly ever going together at all. And I am completely clear on why that is. Even with this leaning a little bit more towards the yellow side, you have two very conflicting flavors profiles here. And they're separate as well. So you get the mustard, and then you get the hot dog, and they're not meshing. I've had plenty of mustard dogs, plenty of mustard crab dogs, mustard brats, mustard crab brats. This also wouldn't work very well on brats. It's really not a bad, it's not great honey mustard, but it's not a bad product overall. It needs some tweaking. The first tweak, we're going to play a little game of fix your sauce right now. So our first tweak for this needs way more habanero. Like way more. Second, actually first tweak is to throw this stupid name out. Let's call it devil mustard, demon mustard, or something like that. Or demon honey mustard, whatever. Devil honey mustard. So fixing the label, don't call it "Ow, my butt hurts." Get rid of hot dog helper. Habanero honey mustard is fine. And moving that habanero forward is going to be quite helpful here. I mean, I think just a lot of this comes down to marketing. Setting a food where it specifically doesn't work very well. Not smart. I mean, would you put honey mustard on a hamburger? I mean, some people might. I personally wouldn't. So I've eaten almost this entire thing now. There's a little bit of a tingle there, I guess. Here, let's see if we can push it over a little bit more. Take another spoonful of this, just see if we can get some heat out of it. Very astringent, as you'd expect. Yeah, so it might have just been more of the top. The top of the bottle thing. I still wouldn't call this a legit one. It's very moderate as far as heat, so I'll call it a default one though. I will say it's earned that. It might have something to do with the bottle too. A lot of this was clogged up at the neck when I opened it, and I think you really need to. Mustard, you need room to agitate. That's why, Plockman's comes in that sort of barrel-shaped thing. That's the kind of bottle you need for this. And you need to leave enough space in there so you can actually agitate it. I mean, it's not bad. It's a very solid, okay product overall. I'm not going to hesitate to use this. I will use this entire thing, although probably on chicken. And that's actually, so I was going to do chicken, then I was going to do deviled eggs, and then I was going to do maybe a chicken sandwich, and then I was thinking about brats, and then I was like, well, hot dog helper, I was going to grill some hot dogs. I'm personally not a fan of grilled hot dogs. I'd much rather have them just cooked on a flat iron or stove, personally. But that's kind of what I went around, and then just honey mustard and hot dogs or honey mustard and hamburgers just is not my thing. But I felt like I really had to give it the nod towards a hot dog just because of the hot dog helper in the name. So that was a miss. It is way better on other things. Like, I think this would make a really good glaze for chicken, grilled chicken. I've used a lot of, it's not quite sweet enough for that, but I've used a lot of, mustards on the grill like that just to try them out. Some work better with pork, some work better with chicken. I don't know that I would, pork might, it'd be worth a try on pork. I don't know, pork could go either way, I think. Definitely chicken, I think, would be pretty solid. So, but yeah, there it is. The very, very misbranded. Ow, my butt hurts. Hot dog helper, habanero, honey mustard.
Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.